Submarines. Technical problems could threaten the megaplan of the AUKUS nations. Export regulations and the overloading of shipyards pose numerous problems for the US-UK-Australia deal. The leaders of the United States, the United Kingdom, and Australia will meet in San Diego next Monday to discuss building nuclear-powered submarines for the Australian Navy. San Diego is located on the Pacific coast. The AUKUS agreement, a sprawling military pact first announced 18 months ago, promises to introduce seismic changes to how allies share the world's most secret military technologies, with strategic implications for how the three friends from across the life can unite to face China in the coming decades. According to two people close to the talks, the three governments have agreed to a complex three-part deal that will be carried out in stages to stagger the huge moves of industrial muscle needed to carry it out. Like others interviewed for this article, these people requested anonymity to discuss the deal before it was formally announced. Also, Australia will host several U.S. submarines as a forward stations later this decade. After this, in the 2030s, Canberra will purchase at least 3 U.S.-made Virginia-class attack submarines. Australia will also finance the construction of joint UK-Australian nuclear submarines based on the British Astute-class ships. Those hulls would not enter service until at least the 2040s, with some delivered well into the 2050s. Whatever the final outcome of all the details, the result will be a historic exchange of ultra-sensitive technology that could bolster the ships of all three countries in Beijing's backyard. Bloomberg first reported on the UK-Australia a UK-US hybrid submarine project, while Reuters originally reported the outlines of the Virginia submarine deal. The companies also have the first 12 Columbia-class ballistic missile submarines they plan to build soon, a backlog that was already stoking concerns about industrial capacity and raising serious questions about how they could add more Virginia submarines to their operations. A member of Congress expressed skepticism that Australian money alone would be sufficient to add to U.S. facilities to build the new Virginia submarines in the 2030s, implying that further arrangements may still be in the works between the U.S. and the United States. USA and Australia. More than submarines. The issues surrounding the U.S. shipyards also affect other parts of the AUKUS agreement, which includes the sharing of sensitive technologies for hypersonic missiles, cybernetics, and artificial intelligence. The United States has never exported or shared this type of technology before, and any deal requires a profound rethink of export rules and calls for regulatory changes. Australia has 16,000 troops in its navy, so training smaller crews and maintaining a smaller hull are major concerns for Canberra. To address these issues, the nation is considering constructing a version of the British submarine rather than a version of the large American Virginia-class ships. The subs will undoubtedly be more expensive to buy and operate than the 1990s-era Collins-class subs they will replace, especially considering the nuclear power plant and more advanced weapon systems they will carry. Malcolm Chalmers, Deputy Director General of the London-based Royal United Services Institute, said Canberra has economic and geopolitical reasons to choose a submarine model based on the British submarine. The American submarine would be much more expensive than the British one because the American defense budget is much bigger, he said, adding that the U.S. Navy would have placed more emphasis on capability than cost compared to Britain. Also, mid-size economies like the UK and Australia don't want to be overly dependent on the US for critical intellectual property. From a UK point of view, it is very difficult to buy these very expensive and sophisticated platforms without international collaboration. The logic points towards collaboration with other medium-sized countries. Even so, the UK submarine program remains dependent on US technology, and a joint UK-Australia model would still rely on US components. There are still a lot of unanswered concerns about the UK-Australia submarine's design, such as what kind of nuclear reactor it would carry. Chalmers said that using a version of the Rolls-Royce reactor, which will be fitted to Britain's anti-missile submarine due to enter service in the 2030s, would make sense. Given decades of planning to buy US and UK submarines, both countries will have to build the infrastructure needed to build the submarines while training hundreds of Australian workers on how to work with the new manufacturing systems and processes and developing new facilities, maintenance, and manufacturing in Australia. All of this will require individual governments to commit for decades to developing their industrial capabilities and facilitating the transfer of sensitive technologies faster than is currently possible to meet deadlines. Thanks for watching.